All right, guys, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages, how to stop stressing out as a husband and father. so, man, being a husband and father can feel like a lot of pressure, but it doesn't necessarily have to, and that's what we're going to talk about today. This is something I'm really discovering and wanted to share with you guys. So my name is Mike Frazier, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach. I help high-achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So some wins from guys in the program. Guys are having good conversations with their wives, talking, laughing, having fun, where maybe that was missing before. Guys are connecting physically, mentally, and emotionally with their wives. Super fun to see. Guys are working through issues with their kids, both as a couple, kind of strategizing, how do we help our kid, and also directly with their kids. You know, when you learn the skills that help you have a better marriage, skills and mindsets, it's both, and, connecting more spiritually to something bigger than you. That's what we're talking about in the program, and doing that together. So, yeah, when you do that, you can work through issues with just about anybody because you got the skills to do it, including your kids, which is, one of our most important relationships. Guys are working taking care of their younger you. So one of the things we talk about in the program, and I'm focusing a lot on this lately, is this, inner child work, right? And so, yeah, when you take that time, you think about those younger yous, you give those younger yous a hug, you play with them, you get the rest that you need. Things just go better. You feel better. And it seems strange to do it, but it's helping me a lot. It's helping guys in the program a lot. It works really well. I think it has a lot to do with what we're going to talk about today. For me, so some great wins. Really had some great time with my son, with all my kids this past weekend. Talked about things I'm learning about wanting to create a safe environment. We made up like a word if people are feeling like their freedom to express is kind of getting stepped on. We say banana, and that just kind of reminds everybody, okay, like just stop what we're doing, let's take a break. So something we're using already, and something I'm liking. But yeah, I also just like having a day where I felt sad and just kind of let myself feel that instead of trying to be like, oh, like I need to talk myself out of this. Or I felt tired and just kind of let myself feel that instead of being like, oh, you got to keep pushing. Yeah. So yeah, it's different to be experiencing more emotions than just like happy and mad, which that's usually where I'm at. But it's good. It's good. I think it's what God has in store for us. So yeah, what you're trying right now probably is you're working hard to be a good husband and father. You're reading books. You're listening to this podcast, hoping to be a better husband and father. Maybe you're listening to things for your work. You want to be the best. Like this idea of wanting to be the best really used to resonate a lot with me. It's starting to less now, which I'm actually kind of happy about. And we'll talk about why today. But just, I got to be the best. I got to be the best. One quote I heard from some guys that I still respect, but I think their mindset is creating a life for them that I don't really want, is thinking about hell being meeting the man you could have been and not being that man. I hear that a decent amount from some of the things that I listen to. I think that's just, man, like a pretty stressful way to live. Like, oh, I just have to be this man. I have to be this man. I'm not there yet. I'm not there. I got to get there. I got to get there. It's, not a very fun way to live. You might think about trying to build a house, like you're building your family or relationships, that you've got bricks and materials and you've got to build this house. Why this doesn't work, right? This mindset, it kind of works, right? It keeps you working hard, but it operates out of fear, right? Fear of not being the best, of not being the man that you want to be, of not being loved, of not being approved of as you are. One of the guys that I like a lot, Kelly Flanagan, he talks about self-improvement really just being kind of a disguise for rejection of yourself now, which I think is kind of true. You're operating out of fear of not doing things right. Ooh, if I say this thing wrong to my wife or my kids, it's going to blow things up. I'm going to wreck it. You have this fear of not being valued or loved, which I think is kind of the root of it. You grew up and experienced in lots of ways probably that to be valued and loved, you needed to achieve at a high level and do things and accomplish things. That's what got you attention and appreciation and love. There's a fear of being alone. Oh man, I got to work hard or else people aren't going to want to be around me, right? I'm not going to earn their approval. It also operates from this place of being alone. Okay, it's all on me. I have to build this house. It's just inanimate materials. I have to grab them and put them together in a way that makes sense. It's all on me. I'm the leader of this family. And I've heard this even, this mindset kind of glorified in other marriage and, manhood podcasts. This is you. You're the leader, right? It's on you. You got to set the tone. The problem is it kind of leaves you feeling pretty stressed out and lonely and fearful. Okay. And those aren't especially fun emotions or attractive emotions. Okay. So if you're going to try to build a family on that, you got to ask yourself, okay, do I want a family that's built on stress and loneliness and fear? I mean, you probably don't, but that's what's happening when you take this mindset of, I got to be the best. It's all on me. I'm the leader. I'm going to do this. Again, that's kind of glorified in our culture a lot. Oh yeah, self-made man, go get it. But that guy's lonely and pretty stressed out, and that's not the best way to operate in a family. So I'm going to offer you a different way to think about things. It's been super helpful for me these past couple weeks or so. Part of this inner child journey that I'm doing. Just picture your family more as a garden. Okay. So when we talk about, this is where God put man in the first place, in a garden. Okay, the Garden of Eden, where really Adam and Eve were just kind of taken care of. Did they have some work to do? Yeah. They named stuff. Sounds like they were picking some fruit. Maybe they set up some gardens of their own. But they were there to, work, but also rest and play and create and grow. And all those things were just as important as the other, right? So you want to picture yourself more as like a tree in that garden, okay? So you're in the garden, you're a tree there. Your wife's a tree. Each of your kids is a tree there, okay? But you're also the gardener, okay? You're both, right? You're a tree, you're a gardener. You're in there working, you're pulling up weeds, you're making sure your kids are, producing fruit as they need to. So is there work to do there? For sure, right? But here's the main point, right? The actual growth of everything depends on God, right? You can't go in there and be the soil, okay? You can't go in there and be the rain, right? You can't be in there and, be the sun, right? You can't do any of that. You can't force the seed to grow. You can't do any of it, okay? God's in charge of all of that. So that's what you need to remember, okay? Growth of everything depends on God. So you can kind of relax, right? God's going to be in there. You mess something up, guess what? You break a branch, guess what? God can help it grow back and heal, right? It doesn't have to be the end of everything when you make a mistake, okay? That's maybe the most comforting thing. Because I think a lot of times you think, oh man, like, okay, if you're building a house analogy, oh, I knocked that brick over, now I have to go fix it, right? But if it's on God and it's something living and growing, right? Yeah, it doesn't need to be fixed. Sure. Do you need to maybe like move the plant around a little bit? Maybe so. Yeah. But God's going to be the one to help heal it. It doesn't have to be you. Okay. So, and the other thing too is you're not alone in that garden. Okay. There's other helpers to help you tend it. So like if you think you're a tree too, like, yeah, you need to go take care of your own tree. And also like maybe someone needs to help take care of yours. Maybe ask your wife sometimes to come help tend your tree, right? You tend each other's trees. So yeah, like it's a place to work. Yes. But really it's a place to play and rest and create. And those are maybe even more important, right? More important, but just as important, right? So play, rest, create, work. Yeah. Part of it, but not all of it. Okay. So really kind of the old way of operating, I think, the higher achievers playbook is kind of like this. You have to earn rest and play by working hard. Work hard, play hard. But don't just play hard without working hard. Make sure you worked hard first so you earned that. Okay. That's how you can finally rest, is by working hard enough to feel like you can rest well. Okay. But actually, if you just rest, you're weak. You should probably just keep working. Okay. If you play, you're lazy. Right? If you pause, the storm's going to sneak up. Something bad's going to happen, so you better be ready, right? You better be the one on guard. This is especially true if you've had kind of some difficult things happen in your marriage or your kids or whatever, where maybe you got surprised by something bad that happened, and that puts you on edge. It puts your nervous system on alert, right? So you feel like you've always got to be on guard and watching for that next storm. If you stop producing, you'll be unseen. I think this is a big one. And this can be like a childhood thing, right? Where you're, you feel like that's the way you got seen, is by getting the good grades, by doing good at sports. That's how you were seen, or else, and if you didn't, you were not going to be seen. Right? People weren't going to value. You couldn't be valued as you rested or played or whatever. Okay, you were valued by working. Right? So, kind of the mantra is like, hey, keep working, keep growing, keep showing we deserve to be here. Okay, that's another thing. Like that's how we earn our. We have to like earn our spot on this world, right? By working. Okay, but that's just not it. Okay, that is a way to operate. It will make you go do stuff, but again, you're stressed, you're fearful, you're not creating a garden that's particularly good for growing. Okay, so here's a new way of operating. This is what I'm offering you today. Just be a part of the garden, right? So play, rest, work, grow, create, do all those things, right? See them all as equally important, okay? And do all of them, right? Each of them is just as valuable as the other one. One's not more valuable than the other, okay? And the order of it, it's going to change based on what's needed for the garden. Okay, sometimes the garden's going to need to just rest for a while. Sometimes play is going to what the garden needs. Sometimes it's time to grow. So remember, just thinking, I'm part of the garden, right? It's not all on me. It's on God as the vine dresser. Okay, I'm just part of the garden. Okay, I'm not the one doing everything. I'm part of it. And really, like, play and rest and love and belonging, ideally those come first. Okay, that's like planting the good soil in there. So that allows the work that needs to be done from a place of being solidly planted instead of earning, right? This is a safe place for me to grow. Okay, I'm okay here. I'm taken care of. I can rest. I can play. And yeah, now I can sink those roots in and really grow and produce fruit from a place of feeling at peace, right? Instead of feeling like, oh, I'm so stressed out, I have to earn everything. Okay. So in summary, guys, it's not all on you. It isn't. Okay. Even though maybe you've heard that a lot, it just is not. It's not true. Okay. You have helpers, physical and spiritual, both. Okay. So access both of them. Another thing, you don't have to earn play and rest by work. You can just play and rest. It's okay, right? You belong just because you belong in the garden. You didn't have to do anything. You belong there. Okay, you're part of that whole garden God has. You're just part of it. You don't have to do anything. You're part of it. Okay, play, rest, growth, work, creation. They're all equally important to each other. And really, guys, again, when you feel free to rest and play and be loved and belong, you have that rich soil to be able to work and grow from that safer, more productive place instead of an earning place. So give yourself that freedom. Realize that garden, God's running it. Okay. You don't have to earn everything. You don't have to work so hard. You can rest and play and still belong, and God's going to take care of things. You can rest at night. God's still watching over that garden. You, your kids, your wife. Okay. That's what will help you be less stressed out. See that as a garden, a living, growing place that God's taking care of. Do you have some work in there? Yeah. Do you also have rest and play, and can you just relax in there? Yes. Okay. Yes. And then work becomes, more of a creative process with your job. You're blessing people with your job. Yeah, is there some stuff that's kind of tedious and all that? Yeah. I don't know exactly why God has created it that way, that there is some of that, but there is. But it doesn't have to be everything, right? And you don't have to earn everything. You can rest too. All right, so come join us in growing our gardens with God in Strong Men, Strong Marriages. Visit strongmen.io, and if you're in that 250K or more year range or want to do some intensive work together, fill out an application. If you're not quite there financially yet, you want to just join our group program, come join that. It opens at the end of every month, so it'll open at the end of July. All right, stay strong in God, men. We'll see you next episode. Again, visit strongmen.io.